Welcome to Collector Fusion, where we discuss the feasibility of the Thanos plan from Avengers Endgame.
I mean, it could have been better. It made for a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like at the point where we meet him in that movie, and he's from like 5 years earlier, and he's all he knows of Earth is what was known at that time, which is basically just the Avengers he sent the Chitauri after.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never been to the planet. And then he gets pulled into 2019 and has a massive army and a ship that can partially destroy planets. Like, he probably thought, I mean, yeah, I can just fuck them up and take what I want. He probably thought that.
Well,
I mean,
I was talking about Ant-Man's plan. The Thanos plan.
What's the Thanos plan?
The Thanos.
Thanos. Yeah. I mean, everybody should go for the anus. It's a great way to distract, at the very least, an attacker.
Don't do that.
Is that
All right, you're in a fight and somebody starts poking you in the anus with like their fist or something. Like, you're gonna stop and be like, "Yo, what the?" It's like you've seen those videos on YouTube.
Oh,
where the dudes do the pranks and they mess with somebody on the street, and then the minute the dude like bows up to him, the dude like strips off all his clothes down to his underwear, and the other dude's like, "Okay, never mind, never mind. You're crazy, so no."
Oh, and by the way, welcome in that studios to the Geek Chat. Well, different Geek Chat, but not the Geek Chat, but the other different Geek Chat, the Geek Fusion Chat.
The Geek Fusion,
but it's still Geeky Chat.
the Geek Collector Cat Chat.
See, Ravenous, he's like, sounds like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look,
Party on Darth.
I'm just saying, in certain situations, it might be enjoyable. In others, when you're not expecting somebody to just go after your anus, you might be a little thrown off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to get your anus attacked by surprise. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be surprised. You go, oh, what? Because it throws you off. So plan your anal attacks ahead of time if you're looking for a good time, is all I'm really saying. I guess when it comes right down to it.
Trust us, ladies and gentlemen. We are way more professional than this.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Not at all.
I'm just trying to do what Matt always says. Like, yeah, we're very professionals here.
We're not. Doesn't matter that we've all been doing this for a really long time. Well, two of us have been doing. Well, how long have you been doing this, Jared?
That's a good question. When did that start? 2020?
2020? Really?
It's 4 years.
I feel like we've been doing that longer than that.
Well, we're two more shows, and we're a year doing the.
That's true. Yeah, we've been doing this a year.
We are at episode 50.
You would think I would be more professional. I've been doing this since 2010, and I think I get worse every year. I think I get less professional as time goes on.
It's because you're cut loose. You're more loose.
So, I don't know. Well, I mean, especially when you're talking about anal attacks, you do want to be loose. Because if you tighten up too much, man, it's just you're going to cause some damage. It's going to rip, and so you want to be loose. Relax, breathe. Just breathe it. Breathe through it. It's fine.
Are we missing somebody?
Quinn is not here. He's busy selling every one of his biker mice from Mars to local people. He has none left. I went by there today. He's got none left. Yep. He was selling the last 3 that he had when I walked in.
Yeah. My sister's here and got a new arrival here.
Uh-oh.
You gonna put her on cam?
Is it a puppy? It's a puppy, because we were talking about this the other day.
Oh! It's a puppy.
Oh, little baby.
Puppy.
It's a puppy.
Charlie.
Hi, Jared's sister.
Hello.
Hi.
I see you in the chat sometimes.
Jared has told us good things about you.
Don't lie to her.
It's a
It's a little girl. She's a boxer, a doodle mix.
Look at this.
The other one's like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Good thing I
It's
got
little girl.
Good thing I got my Eagle Border Collie put up. Otherwise, she'd start going crazy. My dog is in
Somebody's
the
jealous. Somebody's like, hey, man, get off my dad. That's not, no, what's going on here?
I won't mute for a second.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, somebody's jealous. Someone's jealous. Been there many times. That's why when I brought my last one home, the little one, well, she's not that little. She's still the smallest dog in the house. My big dog, my Labrador Retriever, oh, he was very upset. He was like, what the shit? What the?
Well,
Why are you carrying this cute little fur ball around when you're supposed to be paying attention to me?
Yeah.
He did not like it at all. He was very upset. He was very upset.
My Beagle Border Collie, she got jealous of the little Yorkie that we had. She got so jealous of him.
Yeah.
Gave attention.
And then suspiciously, he tried to kill her. And we had to take her to the... Jared remembers that. Jared remembers that the day I was like...
I think it was what, episode 6 of the...
Yeah, it was early on, man. Because, like...
Oh, and she's a good-sized breed. Darcy's asking how big she was. The mama is like a golden and poodle mix. She's a good size. And this one, she's got boxer.
Jerry, you're missing Roxy. Going to town.
Can we just change the background?
Roxy's just loving on her right now.
Why do you want to change the background?
I'm just saying. Let's make this chat about dogs tonight. I guess the dog chat.
I don't have a dog background.
We can do that one. Everybody wants to get dizzy.
Yeah, that's stuff that makes me nauseous.
Oh, space. I like space.
The final frontier.
These are the voyages of the Starship Anal Prize.
I think I already got outvoted already for the name. I think Charlie.
Yeah.
It's Charlie.
And then when he bites, you can go, Charlie bit my finger. For those of you out there not old enough to remember the beginning of the internet, that was a thing. When was that? That's like I'm sorry, I may have. That's like YouTube circa like 2008. That Charlie bit my finger meme.
I still remember the meme of check out Charlie's new trick, and he's just sliding his butt on the floor. The mom goes, "Oh my, Toby."
You're thinking of a porn, but okay.
No. I ain't thinking of that right now.
Hey, chat, what's going on? How you guys doing? What's up? Everybody doing well, I hope. Everybody ready for a good weekend? I'm going to see Aliens tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. I've heard it's good. It's got good reviews. So I'm looking forward to it. Me and my wife binge watched Aliens all week. We watched every Aliens movie. Except we didn't watch AVP retardation or whatever the hell it's called. That second one.
Puppy duty then.
AVP retaliation, AVP Endgame,
to be honest,
AVP the Winter Soldier. I don't know what it was called, but whatever that second one was, we like started to watch it. We got like 20 minutes in and we were like, this is awful. But we don't have to watch this one.
Yeah,
we don't have to watch that one. So we watched all the rest of the Aliens movies except for that one. And so now we're ready for the new one, which apparently takes place between Alien and Aliens. So it takes place in that 50-year time period where Ripley is in hibernation, is supposedly when this one takes place.
So basically it's like a Rogue One.
I'm wondering, because I was talking about that with my wife, I'm wondering if like this movie's going to end right where Aliens started. But I haven't seen anything in the trailers that makes me think it really has anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Because this looks like a group of people out salvaging spaceships, or not a spaceship, a space station in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know. But they like to do that a lot of times, where they like drop a movie and then at the very end you realize, oh, it was a prequel that told, that kind of stuff. I'm wondering if they're going to do that. I don't know. Either way, I don't care. I've heard it's a good movie. I've heard it's a good addition to the Aliens franchise, if I can speak. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. We're going to see it in the morning.
Actually, to truth be told, I made my wife watch all the X-Men movies from the first one all the way to Deadpool 2 to prepare for Deadpool Wolverine.
Me and my wife did the exact same thing. The only ones we didn't watch were all the First Class movies, those 4 movies, because they really didn't have anything to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. But we watched all the rest of them.
We did too. That's what we watched.
The only First Class movie I really like is The Days of Future Past.
I like First Class and Days of Future Past. I like both. I like those 2 first ones. Apocalypse is by far the worst one. Dark Phoenix is just like, I can see good bones there, like what they wanted to do. It was just the execution was off. But at least I think Dark Phoenix was a much better movie than Apocalypse was. Apocalypse was just
had a lot of potential until Disney sabotaged it.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see good bones in Dark Phoenix, but ultimately it's not a good movie. But
yeah, you could.
Still, I'd rather watch it than Apocalypse. Apocalypse is awful. That movie is just awful.
To be honest, Matt, my wife has never seen X-Men Apocalypse.
You don't need to. There's literally nothing in that movie that carries on to the next movie.
Or something going to make her watch it or something.
I'm not going to bore her with that. However, we did watch the other day. We watched the movie Bike Riders. The Bike Riders with Tom Hardy.
I tried to watch that movie. I think I got 30 minutes in and I was bored. Does it get better?
It was fine. I mean, it's like...
See, that means no. That means no. It was fine. No,
I was going to say, think of it like The Blind Side, really. Think of it like The Blind Side, basically. It's kind of like that, where it's more of narrating.
So Sandra Bullock shows up and adopts one of the bike riders and teaches him how to play football? Is that...
No, I'm just saying that narrative.
Does that happen? I didn't get to that part yet.
No.
At what point
does Sandra Bullock
show up? Does she adopt Tom Hardy and teach him how to play football when the rest of the school doesn't like him?
No.
I want to watch that movie.
It follows the narrative, basically The Blind Side, where it's like, oh, you have one person narrate the entire story and all that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's basically that, but it
wasn't. So you could also say it's just like Blade Runner.
I could say Blade Runner, yes, but it's not as good as Blade
Runner. And then people would go out thinking that they're replicants in
I will say the first part, the beginning of it is slow, but then when you get to the end, it picks up.
See, and that's because, like I said, I made it 30 minutes into the movie, and I was just like, I'm kind of done.
Yeah,
I just stopped watching. Yes, Name Withheld. That was a good cartoon. I liked it.
Yeah.
I was curious about when I watched it, because at the point that it stops on the cartoon, I'm wondering if this is going to be a 2-parter or a 3-parter, because it kind of still seemed early in the story where this started. It didn't seem like the halfway point of the story. So I'm wondering if because this was Watchmen Part 1, I had originally assumed it was going to be a 2-parter, but there's a lot that still needs to happen if that's just a 2-parter. So I don't know if they're going to stretch this out to 3 movies, but yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was very, very comic accurate. The only thing I noticed, like, that was noticeable that they left out was Rorschach was not a raging racist. But other than that, it was very comic accurate. But then, what do I know? I mean, like, I still love Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie. I'm going to say something controversial here. I like Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie take on Watchmen better than the original comic.
It's good.
It's a great fucking movie, dude.
The only bad thing about his take on the Watchmen, the idiots at WB thought, hey, let's make the entire DC universe like the Watchmen.
Yeah. And what's weird is his tone worked perfect for that story.
Yeah.
It worked beautifully for that story. I love that movie. I even with them changing the end, like, I love what he did with that movie. I think it was a great, like, taking an awesome story and updating it perfectly for a 2 hour and 45 minute movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
I do too. I think it is one of I think it's one of the best comic book movies that exists. It's a great fucking movie. So, but you know, some people are like, no, the comic is fantastic. But
I do agree with Garth. That's the best part about Apocalypse, where with the Quicksilver scene.
The Quicksilver scene was good. Yeah, the Quicksilver scene was good. I did like that.
It's one thing Fox did. They did do speedsters justice, but the only thing that's flaw in the speedster scenes, how does his Walkman keep up with him?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't know. But you don't think about it when you're watching the scene. You're just like, eh. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking too, Name. Like, I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-parter, because where they end the story in the first movie, it's like there's way too much left to tell. So I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-parter, which I'm fine with. I mean, fuck yeah. It was a great movie. Have you watched it yet, Jared?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot. They did a great job. So,
been a busy
2
week.
thumbs up. Ravenous, who's your favorite X-Men character?
Puppy.
I want to see the puppy.
My favorite X-Men character is a tie.
Is it a girl or a boy?
Girl.
What'd you name it?
I've had Charlie's hijacked the chat. Sorry.
That little bastard. No.
The dog.
Oh.
That's the dog's name. Charlie.
Oh.
Yeah. She loves little puppies.
I'm done walking outside unless I go.
Who don't? If you don't love little puppies, I don't want to know you. Sorry. Favorite X-Men?
I'm sorry, folks. Whenever I mention a puppy to my wife, she's like, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. Sorry.
No, my favorite X-Men is a tie between Iceman and Havoc. They've always been my favorite. I like those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are my 2 favorite X-Men. I mean, granted, I haven't read comics in a long time, Marvel comics, so I don't know much about where they're at now. I heard they made Iceman gay and all this other stuff, and so I don't know if but like growing up, Iceman, because I was a huge fan of the original team, and so when I first started reading comics was right about the time that X Factor became a thing, so it would have been around. I first started reading comics back in like 83, 84. And then, but I started with a lot of Superman stuff for the first couple years. And then around like 85, 86, I got really, really heavy into Marvel. And, obviously that was the quintessential, Chris Claremont era, which was the perfect time to come into X-Men comics. And so it was also right around the time that they started X Factor, which I think was 86, if I remember right. And so I liked that team. I liked the original X Factor a lot. In fact, I liked X Factor and I liked New Mutants a little bit better than I liked the mainstream Uncanny X-Men title. Not a lot more, but I liked having 2 smaller teams. The Uncanny X-Men title was as it should be, but it was always just like you got a team of like fucking in any given book of like 16 characters. Whereas with the X Factor and New Mutants, there were smaller teams and they were able to focus more on the characters in those comics. But I always liked Iceman. I always thought he was awesome. And then I'm trying to remember when I got introduced to Havoc. It would have been I knew who Havoc was, but remember when Havoc started showing up in Uncanny X-Men like around the 200 issue mark, 200 to somewhere between like 200 and 220. He started showing up a lot in Uncanny X-Men. This is before they sent him over to take over X Factor, in the early 90s. I started reading more about him, and I was like, oh, he's a really cool character. He's Cyclops' little brother. I started learning more about him. I liked his power set better. He seemed a lot less like a douchebag than Cyclops did. And I just always liked him. I always liked Alex. I always thought he's the best brother. So yeah, I don't know. I like those 2 characters. I don't know which one I like better. It's a tie, man.
My answer is going to be boring, because he's basically the only one I collected at the time in this Wolverine. I started reading the storyline Fatal Attractions when he got his adamantium ripped out.
Yeah.
And that's when I started reading and followed along the storyline for a while when he's having to adapt, and his healing factor was gone for a while because it went to such trauma. And it came back in like double time, like his healing factor was stronger than it ever has been. And the dark days when they did a secondary mutation and turned him into like a wolf man or dog man.
Yeah. Then they didn't they call him Fang for a while?
No,
I think it's something else.
Remember. I think it's something else.
I can't remember.
When he was, they did strike up, which is weird. When he was like in the bestial form, which he looked like basically a hairless beast, but with claws, and that's when they did start striking up the romance between him and Aurora Storm. Apparently, she likes the more wilder side of Wolverine.
As if it wasn't wild enough before.
Which it went for years with him not having the adamantium, which differently because bullets will pass through him now because he didn't have the adamantium. He's more squishy, but his healing factor was more greater. Then later on, the storyline is basically they killed Cyber off the first time. They flesh-eating. They put him in a cage with flesh-eating bugs and ate all the skin off of him like the adamantium. They tried to graft that adamantium to Wolverine. He rejected it. That's when he turned to beast mode, I think. That's when he went feral. So it looked like they're going to keep him without adamantium for a long time. Then all of a sudden, he showed up as a horseman for Apocalypse with adamantium. That's
Comics.
I think, and I don't mean this in any negative way per se, because I like Wolverine. I grew up loving Wolverine comics and all that stuff. He's not my favorite X-Men or anything, but I love Wolverine. But I do think Wolverine is the second most overrated character in comic books after Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, again, I still like Wolverine. I think he's a great character. I like the character of Logan. I love some of his stories, especially the Weapon X stories.
Majority of those stories I read was him without his adamantium. I thought those stories were more interesting until they turned him into a dog man.
Yeah. But he was a very cool character. He is the Boba Fett of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is he's very cool looking, and he was a cool character to a lot of kids because he was just a little dude with knives for claws coming out of his hands and stuff. And it was very much geared towards he's that cool character kids are gonna like. But
who didn't walk down through down the hallways down your school and pretend like you had claws as striking down the fuckers and stuff.
Yeah. So Batman is just overrated and he sucks.
Yeah.
So
100%. Batman does not work unless he starts acting like Tony Stark. Batman makes no damn sense.
Batman makes no sense unless he is like Tony Stark.
He has to be on a world with no superheroes.
Batman is Tony Stark. Batman could be Tony Stark or Punisher, but he's the things that make those two characters great and make them good at what they do. He lacks those qualities of either one of them.
The main thing that makes Batman popular, he has one of the best rogues galleries.
Yes, he does. And even though I'm not a big Batman fan, I love collecting Batman figures.
Yeah.
I love collecting all the different versions of Batman and all his the Bat family and the Batmobiles and all his rogues and all that stuff. It's a cool thing to collect. I just don't like him as a character.
As a character, he's not that interesting, but as an action figure display, the way his costumes are, that's what's cool.
I've always found growing up reading specifically Superman, obviously I read a lot of Batman too, and there were good storylines that I liked. I liked the Venom storyline. Nightfall was obviously a classic that we've all read. There were good storylines back in the day, and I'd even say when I briefly got back into comics in the early 2010s, the Court of Owls storyline by Scott Snyder was fantastic.
That was a really good story, yes.
So there's been some really good Batman storylines, but in general, as a character, he's just so flawed.
Batman did really well for news too.
Yeah, but he's not flawed in ways that make him more interesting. He's flawed in ways that don't make any sense for who he is.
Yeah.
I was going to say my two Marvel characters are Cyclops and Iceman. Before they changed and messed up their characters.
Hey, why are you stealing my idea? I'm the one that said two.
Well, I thought
This one was just one.
Oh,
I
one.
just said I can't decide between the two.
Cyclops.
So those are my two favorites. They're tied.
That's why I said Wolverine only.
Cyclops, I'm sorry. And then for DC, I would say Hal Jordan's Green Lantern.
Who's your favorite X-Men, not who your favorite characters are.
Cyclops. Cyclops is my favorite X-Men.
But then you said, like, well, I like Green Lantern.
No, because Matt mentioned Batman, so I was mentioning Green Lantern. I thought we was doing both DC and Marvel.
Well, we don't have to copy him out all the time. You can have
I'm
original.
not copying him. I'm just saying. I thought we was doing both DC and Marvel.
I will say though, my favorite DC character, this should come as no surprise, always has been and always will be Superman. People are out there, he's boring because he can do anything. Fuck no, he's not. Then you don't know how to read a comic.
Yep.
Superman is not a boring character.
No, he's not.
I'm gonna be honest. I got my reduction from Superman from the animated series. Is how I knew about Superman at first. Then I started reading comics.
It's because you're a fetus.
Yeah.
I know, but still.
I got raised by a hardcore Superman fan who had Superman comics from the 60s. That's how I got into comics, was reading them when I was around like 5 years old. And so my mother was already a huge Superman fan. So I grew up, two things that I grew up around because of my mother. She was a huge Superman fan and she was a huge Trekkie. She was she had like stuff from, like, she went before I was born back in the 70s and she went to all the old school 70s Star Trek conventions. She was one of those fans that rode into the networks to get Star Trek rebooted to where they were going to do Star Trek Phase 2 that eventually turned into Star Trek the Motion Picture. So I was raised by a hardcore Superman and Star Trek geek.
Ooh.
So I had no chance of not being into at least those two things growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I'm happy with. I still love Star Trek and I still love Superman. I mean, I'm not saying I like modern Trek. Modern Trek is mostly trash except for Lower Decks, but I still love going back and watching thousands of hours of Star Trek that existed before then.
They're shutting down the Paramount Network.
Uh-huh.
And
who I forgot who's getting the license? Oh, we were just talking about this a couple weeks ago.
It's up for. Yeah, we were talking about that.
We were talking about it, and the main contender to get the license, I don't remember who it was, but I remember when I heard they were the ones that were probably going to get it, I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. But now I don't remember who it was. I just remember.
We were talking about that. I think I brought it up.
Yeah, and you said who was like the main contender to get it, and I don't remember, but I just remember thinking that's got to be way better than fucking Paramount and CBS owning it right now.
Paramount literally kept renewing Discovery for spite because the ratings were not there. The show was shit.
Yeah.
They just renewed the show for spite just to piss off fans because that show has broke so much canon in Star Trek. It's not even funny.
It's a show that arguably, my opinion, and not everybody may agree with this, that's fine. It's a show, in my opinion, that had only one good season, and that was season 2. And that was only because they brought in Spock and Pike and them, who I thought all of them did really good jobs playing those characters. The show itself and the cast of characters that were originally brought onto the show all pretty much sucked across the board, with one exception, and that's what's his face? I like the
bad guy from season 1.
No. The what's his name? The alien first officer, played by I'm blanking on everybody's names right now. Saru. His name's Saru on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And he's played by that famous dude that always plays the dude. Anytime you see a tall, skinny dude inside an alien costume, it's him.
Yep.
Anyway, he was actually because I did watch the show. He was the only good character on the show. He was the only character that somebody seemed to put time and effort into writing him as a character. He was the only one that when stupid shit would happen on the show, that they would write in lines of him being like, "Hey, this is stupid shit. You know that, right?" Like stuff like that. And he had a good backstory for his character. He had a good story arc for his character. No one else on the show did over 5 seasons. They all sucked from beginning to end. Saru, for some reason, I don't know who. I don't know if he had his own writer. Thank you, Philip. Doug Jones. Thank you.
There you go.
For some reason, his character was good. His character was great. I really, really enjoyed whenever his character was on screen or there was an episode that focused on his character. It was always actually entertaining and good, well written. I don't know why that they just one character, but they did for some reason.
The new Deadpool from the Deadpool ring. I did order that one.
I did.
I haven't got it yet. Of course.
They should have not been pushed to December. They should have been out already. I don't know why you delay them. Like, they should have been revealed when the first trailer came out, after Wolverine was revealed, and then they released on the day of the movie. They would have sold like hotcakes if they released when the movie came out. By the way, the movie's hit over 1 billion. So,
Oh yeah, and it's still going too. My
Yep.
daughter and her friend are going to see it tomorrow. They're going to the movies with us. Me and my wife are going to go see Aliens, and her and her friend are going to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
well,
And it's still, I mean, it's still making money hand over fist, and good too. It was a great movie. It deserves it.
Yep. We're supposed to be talking about some toys, showing our top 5 figures.
Toys?
and then,
What the?
of course,
What do you mean toys?
action figures? Excuse me.
Oh, is this a toy chat all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I thought this was a movie, anal attacks, and dog chat.
It turned into that, but it's about toys.
I think
Okay.
that's just fine.
I thought this movie and puppy stuff was for the geek chat tomorrow.
It doesn't matter. We just need to have fun. That's all. I don't care what we talk about as long as we're having fun.
That's
And the
true.
audience is having fun. Guys, are y'all having fun? Listen to it. Oh, some of y'all weren't here for the anal attack. That was at the very beginning of the chat.
You have to go
Outside
back
of the anal attack, which you missed, sorry for that, by the way. It was fantastic. But you guys are having fun, right? That's all that matters. Everybody's having fun. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Doesn't matter. Talk about how great of a character Superman is, how overrated Batman is, favorite X-Men characters. I don't care.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Let's just have some fun. It's Friday night, man. Let's enjoy our conversations.
Absolutely.
Shall we?
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah, I'll be honest. I did briefly look at toy news. I saw nothing I was interested in at all. And I get it because, we just had the summer months, especially in July, packed with toy news. And so we're kind of on the downside of that. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot going on anyway. And what is going on, to be honest, I'm not really interested in at all. Like, they're not really, like, everything that the most interesting things have been in toy news right now are things that it's like, oh, this just went up for pre-order, but it's the thing we heard about a month ago, So there's not really anything new in toy news this week, except I don't know about Transformers news. I leave that to Jared. I don't look at Transformers news, but as far as just action figure stuff, Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe, Valaverse, whatever. I mean, I guess the biggest news is that Monster Force is finally shipping, which is awesome. Hopefully now that it's starting to ship, they'll start showing up in stock at like Big Bad Toy Store and places. So that's cool. So there's a couple things here and there, but for the most part, it's been a slow last couple of weeks for toy news. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like you said, they blew their load over at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
So,
and which is fine. They do that every year. We're used to that. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But
We did
Yeah,
have a pre-order drop today with the Strange and Wand.
and also,
today, and then isn't one going to? What's the one going tomorrow? Punisher, right? Is tomorrow?
Next week, I think.
next week,
Is it next
you
week?
said next
okay.
Punisher is the Punisher pre-order next week.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, next
same, and McFarlane dropped their collector edition 3 pre-orders of Green Lantern, Batman, and Huntress today. So
And you're
That's
the only
really-
one here that cares.
No, I was just mentioning it.
No, I have not pre-ordered anything in a really, really long time because I decided not to pre-order. However, I might pre-order Punisher.
I'm surprised you
He
didn't. Pre-order.
thinks you gotta get that Bushwhacker figure to get the Punisher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
So you gotta pay
I mean,
premium.
well, like we talked about, though, it's a cool figure. I have no idea who that character is, but it was a cool looking figure. I
Well,
just don't.
It might be the
Oh,
only
who the
cat.
hell Bushwhacker
If you get a Punisher right now, it's got to be part of a set.
Yeah,
Because Marvel does hate Frank Castle right now. Marvel Comics.
We always wait and buy him loose, the Punisher figure loose. Like sometimes I'll do that.
Oh, ain't nobody gonna be selling him loose unless it's for $100.
Probably.
You can get plenty of Bushwhackers.
Oh yeah.
I feel like JB. I feel like you need a good bushwhacking. Just saying. Your
I don't
wife
know
would
about that.
appreciate it. Give it a little bushwhack once in a while. Look,
My wife.
all I'm saying. Look, all I'm saying is you mow the grass to make the tree look bigger. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You mow the grass makes the tree look bigger. Oh yeah, he has to go cut his picture off at that point. I don't know why. I'm afraid to know what he's doing now. He's just busting out. He busted out the buzz clippers.
Yeah,
I had to get it out of my system. Oh really? You changed my name, Matt. I see that. You changed my name again. There you go.
I didn't do that time. That wasn't me.
Do you really want me to bring in Plastic Man? I feel like you just love him. How about this? I'll get you one. Let me grab him.
I don't need a plastic man. Honestly, if somebody was like, "I'll give you a plastic man right now. What do you want?" I'd be like, "I want the DCUC one. I don't want the McFarlane one." Thank
There you
you.
go.
You know what? I now realize where Catwoman stole her penis from. She stole it from him because he doesn't have one.
he's got a Nene.
Oh,
Oh, you waking
Hey.
up?
That's a reference to the McFarlane Catwoman figure, who clearly has a schlong.
yeah,
Anybody that was wondering. So,
I agree.
like, clearly, you gave her a package. I don't know why. I guess good old Uncle Todd just thought, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to say half the shit I want to say right now because it would get us kicked off YouTube. Never mind.
At least he didn't skip leg day. I'll see this.
He didn't skip leg day. He did not.
He did.
I'll be right back.
All right. He didn't skip leg day. I'll give him that.
Justin in the chat says, when it comes to box office success and merchandise sales, Deadpool and Wolverine is the 2024 version of Tim Burton's Batman. 1989. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. I mean, good, though. It was a fantastic, fantastic movie, and it deserves to get some love. It deserves to make some money.
It's what Marvel needed after all the flops they've been having recently. They
Mhm.
needed this. They needed this win. Now the question is,
It's the best Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home.
well,
And it may be the best movie since Endgame. I don't know. I still like Spider-Man No Way Home. I like that movie a lot, but
I'll tell you this. Me and a buddy, we was debating over this when we both seen No Way Home. And we were talking about how if you look at the story, like take off the nostalgia glasses and you look at the story is a very basic story. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's not really that thing at all.
it's not a complex
not-
story at all.
No, it's not that complex. It's a basic story, but it did real well due to nostalgia factor, which nostalgia has been proven time and time again that it can be a good thing and it can also be a bad thing. But the way No Way Home,
I mean, and the other thing is, though, when you're going to do a story that's going to have a lot of complex elements in it, like this, like Spider-Man No Way Home, you have to simplify everything else, and they did.
yes,
You could not have an overly complicated plot, let's say villain plot, in a movie where you're going to bring in two other versions of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and explain some multiverse stuff. You had to streamline and simplify everything else to make room for those things so that the story did not feel like a clusterfuck, basically. And I thought they did a really good job of doing that. And I think it was very smart, in my opinion, to, hey, we're going to have some complex things in this. We're going to have to, you know, explain multiverse stuff and have two other versions of Spider-Man and throw Doctor Strange in at the beginning and at the end of the movie. You know, where else can we slim down and simplify the storyline? Because those things are important. And I think they were important. I think that movie, if you had just made that movie without the multiverse aspect to it, and it was just, I don't know, let's reintroduce a new version of Doc Ock and Green Goblin, right? The movie would not have been as good. It was good not just because of nostalgia, but the reason that the nostalgia exists is those villains were either already really well done, right? Doc Ock, amazing villain, okay, from Spider-Man 2. Green Goblin, amazing villain from the first Spider-Man, and even Sandman from Spider-Man 3. While that movie had its problems, Sandman was not one of them. His story arc in that movie was fantastic, and the way that character was portrayed in Spider-Man 3 was fantastic. And so you had those three villains, and then you've also got you know, a couple of villains that are less spectacular from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Lizard, they really didn't do anything with in this movie, and that's fine. He was never a great villain, and he wasn't a great villain in this movie, but they kind of kept him relegated to, you know, background villain. And then they actually took the worst villain from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Electro, and actually did him justice, made him a much better villain than he ever was in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Absolutely.
So I think they were able to pull all those elements together in that movie. And
it was a huge improvement for Electro.
Oh yeah. And I think what they did with that movie by saying these are the things we want to focus on, and yeah, we're pulling on nostalgia, but we're pulling on some really good, really well written characters for that nostalgia. I think it worked. I think it worked really well.
Use the nostalgia to further the plot as well, which is good. Which is what you should do.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't just nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. These were story significant nostalgia points, right? Like the story doesn't work if you don't have the other two Spider-Man figures in there, right? The story doesn't work if you don't have Green Goblin played by Willem Dafoe, right? The story doesn't work if you take that nostalgia out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they did a great job. I like it a lot.
And you think by learning the multiverse in that film, they would have been able to pick up on it with Multiverse of Madness, but we know how that went.
Nope. Well, you'd think now at this point, we have two movies that the entire focus of these two movies was the multiverse, and that is Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man No Way Home. These two movies are very well loved, and they were very well done. There is now no excuse. You've got two templates for how to do a multiverse story if you want to do one. You got two fantastic templates. Here's these two movies that made just shit tons of money that are loved. There's no excuse for we don't know how to, we can't do a multiverse story. Either just don't do it. If you can't do what those two movies did, and they both took on the multiverse storyline in very, very drastically different ways. If you can't do what either of these movies did, then stay away from multiverse stuff. Just stop doing it.
Well, you got to think too, Multiverse of Madness really wasted a cast that done Captain Marvel, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, and of course John Cranston.
Oh yeah, it did. The Illuminati, there was so much potential there with what they could have done in that movie, and it just it's one of those movies. So I mean, for instance, like when I watch, every time I watch the first Doctor Strange movie, I love it more than I did the last time. I love that movie. It's a movie that I liked from the very beginning, and every time I watch it, I like it more.
Yep.
Multiverse of Madness is the exact opposite. Every time I watch it, I like it less. Like, I liked it okay when it first came out. And I was like, okay, well, it wasn't nearly as good as the first movie, but whatever. Okay, whatever. You know, I love Sam Raimi, for instance. Huge fan of Sam Raimi and his style. And I'm like, okay, well, it wasn't good as the first one, but you know, whatever. It was still an entertaining movie, and it was an entertaining movie, I guess. But every time I've watched it since then, every time I watch it, I like it less and less and less.
His style just doesn't work for Marvel movies. At least not this type of Marvel movies like Doctor Strange. It just didn't work for him.
Well, I think what they were expecting was another Spider-Man, because he did a fantastic job with Spider-Man.
Yeah, his style worked great for Spider-Man.
Well, the problem is you've got executives of Marvel and you've got Disney telling him, okay, this is the direction we want to go. This is how we want the movie done. So you've got to think how much control did Sam Raimi actually have when they were doing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? Because we've seen what he can do when he has total control over movies. Look at Spider-Man 1. Look at the Spider-Man trilogy. Look at Spider-Man 2. Look at Evil Dead. Excuse me. Look at those films, how well those did, because he had direction and he was the director who had control. And we've seen how bad a movie can be with Spider-Man 3 when a company gets involved and takes control of everything when they interfere with Sam Raimi's direction.
Yep.
So I think he could have made. I think Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness could have been great, but the two problems was you had Marvel and Disney telling Sam Raimi, making him certain restrictions, and then two, he would not. I don't think he really knew how to do with the multiverse. So
I think Doctor Strange 2 would have been a much better movie with Sam Raimi had they just let him
off the leash.
A Doctor Strange movie that had nothing to do with the multiverse. It was because the multiverse stuff was in play that they maintained such strict control over what the story had to be, because they were building this whole multiverse saga. And I do think, however, that Sam Raimi, had he not been restrained by that multiverse stuff, I do think he was a great option for a Doctor Strange story. When you look at the stuff he's done in the past, when you look at how he's good at quirky, almost comedic horror, dude, that's Doctor Strange right there. You know, that's right up his alley. The problem is he was told this is a multiverse story and we have to fit in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Y, H, you know, all that shit, right, into this story. And he's like, okay. If it had just been a story about, which is what it should have been, Baron Mordo coming back, you know, because he basically had turned into a villain at the end of the first movie. And
that's what I wanted to see.
Doctor Strange versus Baron Mordo, and Baron Mordo's got some plan to, I don't know, do something to reset the universe back to the way it's supposed to be, because we know he's a fucking, you know, a purist when it comes to this stuff. And he doesn't like that Doctor Strange tampers with things and all this kind of stuff, right? Make it a simple movie. Just simple. Those two are the main, you know, protagonist and antagonist, and make it a simple movie between those two. It would have worked much better.
That's what I want to see. They set the first movie ended setting up that story.
Yeah.
And we got no payoff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say I could see Sam Raimi do like if he did a Doctor Strange movie, I would like to see like the What If episode of Doctor Strange. Like what if
What If episode of Doctor Strange was phenomenal.
Yes.
Like that one, the whole What If series, season 1 and 2, they've been fine. I was entertained by them, but there was nothing really that like blew me away except for that episode. That episode was fantastic.
Like the tone, the way the characters and everything was wrote and stuff.
Yeah.
That could have been what Multiverse of Madness was, and if it was directed by Sam Raimi that way, it would have been great.
Yeah, that was a better story than Multiverse of Madness was.
Yes. And Name asks, has anyone seen the Doctor Strange anime movie? I have, and it's actually for free on YouTube. You can watch it for free.
I've got it on DVD, but I have not watched it in over 10 years. Because I think this is a movie. This movie came out back in either the late 2000s or early 2010s. I haven't watched it in a really, really long time, and I've got it on DVD, but I don't remember much. It was just a retelling of his origin, wasn't it?
It was retelling of his origin, but it was different. Like, it took different takes. Like, it's sort of, there's actually a video out that compares the anime movie to the live action movie and says what the anime movie does better than the live action one. I mean, when Iron Man came out, remember, there was a big boom for Marvel to start pushing out some animated series, and they did the Iron Man one, which was they did the Doctor Strange one, and they did a few of them. Then they did those Ultimate Avengers ones, and they were pumping out some animated stuff there in the late 2000s after Iron Man came out, and the early 2010s. And I have all of those on DVD. I bought all of them. I haven't watched any of them in so freaking long. I don't really much about them, to be honest. They're all in a box in my garage right now. Like, I don't know. I maybe I need to pull them out and watch them again or something. You should. They are. I went back and recently watched them, and I'd say the weakest one is Invincible Iron Man.
I remember not liking that one. I specifically remember not liking it. I don't remember why I didn't like it, but I remember not liking it.
That's the weakest
back
one.
up, like what we were talking about earlier before, they were like, Liam Hild's like, totally agree on this. Superman's a great character, but a lot of people can't write good stories for him because a lot of modern writers don't know what heroes are.
Yeah.
They're just mainly doing it for a paycheck, basically. But yeah, the Marvel movies, I went back and watched them.
They want to be edgy too and deconstruct the superhero.
Yeah. But no, the Marvel anime movies are great. It's just I recently watched them. You know, I've watched a few of them with my wife and stuff. And she likes them, which is good. Because remember, she was sheltered her whole life, never grew up with comic books. So, and I like watching them.
Child abuse right there, but okay.
Yeah. Invincible Iron Man weakest.
The fighting Baron Mordo would have made a much better compelling story.
Been a great final battle in the movie.
Let him get the dark hole.
To go back to the Superman thing, the thing that and again, I don't read modern comics, so you know, you guys might know more about this than I do. But the thing about Superman, and I think the thing that whether you go back to the George Perez era or the John Byrne era, or you know, even further back than that. And even especially in the comics that I was reading from the 60s when I first started reading comics, which was all the like, you know, Adventures of Superman and Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen and Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. You know, these were all comics that they had that I grew up reading. One thing that I noticed and that stayed as kind of the backbone of Superman comics all the way up until when I stopped reading. And when I stopped reading comics was probably like 94, 95-ish. The backbone to Superman was always, and honestly, it's so simple. He's a well-raised Kansas boy who wants to do good things and knows he can do anything he wants and has the power to do anything he wants, but he holds back for the greater good. It's not difficult if you just write a Superman story with that being your guideline. Here's a person that was raised right. Here's a person whose parents were the perfect people in the world to raise a child like this, and they raised him right. And he spends his entire life trying to do the best he can for as many people as he can. When he has the power, if he wanted to take over the world, to take over entire galaxies, he's so powerful. And he doesn't, because of how he was raised, and because he was raised with good morals.
Describe something that's more alien to the current writers than an alien from outer space.
Yeah, they don't understand that concept of people can be raised to have good morals like that.
Yep.
And it's such a simple thing. You just write a Superman story knowing that that's what it is, that everything he does and everything he says, you've got to have that in the back of his mind at all time. This is a really, really good person who could be the worst villain in the universe if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. But because of how he was raised, he's not. He's a genuinely good, strong, moral character that spends all of his life holding back constantly throughout his entire life, holding back in everything, you know, from everything from how he deals with villains to just when he gives his mother a hug. He has to constantly hold back because he's so powerful, and he does it because he's got good morals, and he genuinely loves human beings, and he loves the earth, and he loves people,
He
and he
doesn't
loves
even consider himself
society.
a Kryptonian. He considers him a farm boy from Kansas and Earth.
Yeah. And if you just write stories with that understanding, which, like you said, I don't think people today understand. These comic book writers don't understand. They don't want to understand that about the character. If you just write it from that perspective,
Well,
you can
they
write
think-
good Superman
They
stories.
think when you grew up in small town Kansas, you're a racist bigot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just and when you're talking about a character, by the way, people are running around, look at how bigoted and racist and all this shit America is, and it's worse today than it was 100 years ago, which is retarded, stupid shit. And they try to echo this crap in these comics, and it's like,
Well,
you're
it's like
talking, and then they will
Green
shit
Lantern.
on a character like Superman, a character who was written by two Jewish immigrants to portray the morals that they wanted to see in a hero. And to watch that character develop over the course of 80 years before these shitheads got a hold of him and turned him into whatever the hell he is today, and just wrote the character from that perspective. Here's just a good dude. Here's what happens when you just raise somebody right.
Yep.
Here's an actual fucking hero that humanity doesn't deserve, to be honest, because sometimes humanity is shit. But he has endless faith in humanity, and he could easily just, as we've seen in like Elseworlds storylines, he could just one day get sick of humanity and be like, you know what, you people are always starting wars and fucking each other over, and so I'm just going to take over. I'm just going to take over and be your god and your king. But he doesn't do that because he has endless faith, because of how he was raised and because of the morals that were instilled in him by his parents. And then these people come along and just fuck it all up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad.
Well, we are near the first hour. I want to go over our list.
Sure.
I've got
seen
some
it, and
stuff.
I'm using a lot of my customs. So
I've got some stuff.
That's
from
not
this-
fair. How's that
I've got-
fair? You're using customs?
I've
Well,
got some.
my number one is a official figure. The rest of them.
All right.
Are we doing 5 or 10? I don't.
You said you had 10, so I'm going to have to
I
discuss
said
it.
I have 10 because as I was putting together my 5, it was really hard to come up with 5, and then I thought, well, I'll just do 10, and then I'll make a top 10 video about it later. So let me go ahead and pick my 10. But I've got my 10 and I've got my 5. I got whatever you guys want to do.
I mean, I had 5, but I can
I'm
do
still
10.
not quite 100% on the order, but I think I'm pretty good on the order.
I say go. We can do 10. Davey can do 5. He's half our age, so he can get by with just half.
No,
Yes.
I'm doing 10 right now. I'm getting the rest of the other 5.
She needs to go potty.
And remember the stipulations that we agreed upon like 2 weeks ago. A, no Build-A-Figures.
Yep.
B, only one of each character.
Yes, and it was
Remember
also
those,
it's got
those were 2 guidelines we came up. So I stuck to that.
Yeah.
I stuck to that. No Build-A-Figures and only one of each character, because otherwise I'd have just top 10 Spider-Man figures here.
Well, I didn't stick to Build-A-Figures because they're customs. They're all Build-A-Figures.
You motherfucker.
yeah.
Jared's list doesn't count. Anyway.
No,
All right, who's going first? JB, you're going first.
I'll let y'all go first. I'm still working over here on mine.
Oh my god. All right, here we go. Jared, we're gonna see who goes first. You ready?
All right.
Scissors.
1, 2, 3. Okay, you go
Me?
first.
All right.
Beat me.
My hands don't work too good. So. I was like, what, I did 3. No, wait a minute.
Like I can do scissors. That's it, man. I can do scissors.
Well, my number 10 is my custom merged Hulk, Professor Hulk. Because it is my favorite incarnation of the Hulk. We have not got an official Hasbro version of it, so I made my own. So, yeah.
Will we ever get one? Do you think?
I don't know if they do. I have fears if they do, they're going to make it too small because the merged Hulk is one of the biggest incarnations of the Hulk because he's in the Savage Hulk body, but he stands upright. It's the way they explained it. It's like he's got that Savage Hulk body. It's just instead of being hunched over, he stands upright like a normal human being.
Yeah.
And they'll probably make him too small and give him stupid bunny slippers. That one issue, he wore bunny slippers. Everybody's like, they need to make him with bunny slippers. It's like, no. He wore it for one book. And I was on a trading card. And I think that's what he did all the time. And my number 9, not technically Marvel Legends, but it's a Marvel Legends figure. Big
Kids McGee.
Yep. Power Girl, this is built off the Moonstone body and with custom printed torso.
Hang on.
And love how this one turned out. And
I think Jared forgot this is Marvel, not DC.
hey, you said Marvel Legends. This is still a Marvel Legends figure.
Yeah, but this is DC, not Marvel.
You said Marvel Legends. This is
Okay.
Marvel Legends
Okay.
figure.
All right.
Is that Sue Storm's face?
That is actually
yeah.
the DC Direct head for Power Girl.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Build a figure. It's Abomination. Love how this turned out. Just gorgeous. The sculpt on this thing is just so nice. You got the texture. Once you bring out some paint and texture it, swap out the head with the comic book head. This is something Hasbro could easily do as a deluxe figure, and people would buy it in a heartbeat because it works as comic book Abomination just by changing the head and changing the paint job up. It's like, come on. You do deluxe figures all the time. Do this. And my number 7.
Fuck you. What's your number 7? It's fuck you.
My Conan on a Hercules body.
Oh.
And I love how this thing turned out, though. It was so cool, too. Like, the skin tones from that Legendary Comic Book Heroes one, it's so close. Didn't have to worry about repainting it. It's just overall, like, I don't need to buy a Conan. I have a good Conan. Number 6, Primeval. With the awesome light-up head that Custom Cannon made and the chest piece. I used my chrome powder and chromed out the emblem. It's just gnarly looking.
I still got to play around with that chrome powder. I haven't even cracked it open yet. I keep meaning to do something with it.
Just when you do, just wear something over your nose or something, because it is so fine. You can just, while you're rubbing it on there, you'll breathe it in.
Yeah.
I did that with not without a mask, and I said, blew my nose. It's like, oh, better use a mask next time. And we got number 5, one of my characters, on a Marvel Legends body. You got Lore. Well, that's one of my favorite fiddle figures right now. And number 4, is another one of my original characters, and this could have been my top one because I love this figure, how it turned out, the way it looks.
That's your second best custom I've ever seen.
I'm still waiting for this to be an official action figure and add it to my collection.
The thing is just so badass the way it turned out.
The first best custom you've ever done is sitting on my shelf behind me.
It is unbelievable. Amazing.
I did put number 3, and then put Sludge. Because this thing was a ton of work. And I loved the Sludge comic back in the day. It's trippy to read the book because the way his mind worked, his word sentences were broken, and my neurodivergent, my head and my brain and mind, I was able to read it pretty easily. But I love how this thing turned out. It's built on like the Monster Venom body. I think he used the Toxin, the deluxe figure, so it's not a Build-A-Figure. And number 2, one of my favorite comic book characters, Prime. And number 1, Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Build-A-Figure. That's true.
not a Build-A-Figure.
Yep.
And it's an official figure.
It's the only one on your list that's an official figure.
True. I picked the ones I like the most out of my collection, and I'm sorry if it's stuff I made.
No, it's fine. We're not batting an eye about it. It's all right.
No, it's not all right.
Yes, it is. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it.
All right, are you ready, JB?
Here, we'll do rock, paper, scissors, Matt, to be fair.
All right, let's see if we can time this on a live stream.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We're lesbians. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3.
Aha!
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Wait, I thought loser goes first. I'm kidding. All
I
right.
thought this was what we were playing for. Who goes next?
Okay.
You won.
Well, number 10 is an underrated figure, and he came out this year, the Tombstone figure from the Retro Card. I know he doesn't have a lot of articulation in the head, but he's just a perfect comic adaptation of Tombstone, and he is one of my favorites.
It's a beautifully sculpted figure.
Yes.
It's just a weird decision to decide not to give him no neck articulation.
Yeah. Kind of like Todd McFarlane does with some of his Batman figures. So, anyway. So, this one I did a review of. It's a reuse. The Doctor Doom for the Cabal free pack. Love this guy. Love it. I especially like the soft goods cape. It just works. And I like the soft goods cape too because he's not so back heavy. So he really works. Number 8 is Blade figure. I like this one. It's a really good interpretation of Blade. I do wish he came with an alternate, not yelling head sculpt. And the one glaring issue, a lot of people, including myself, is the cape does hinder his arm movement where he can't bring his arms down.
You might want to look
out a little bit.
Getting a soft goods. I've seen some people put sleeveless soft goods capes on it, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yes, Argyle, it is weird.
All right, number 7.
My image viewer is older than JB.
Yep. Number 7 is one that actually was probably one of my best reviews on my channel. That is the No Way Home Deluxe Green Goblin figure. I know it's MCU live action. I know how much.
Doesn't matter. It's still Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I know though. This is probably the perfect.
See, I'm not giving you a hard time over that, JB. Like, oh, it's DC, but it's Marvel Legends. That's the MCU. It's Marvel Legends.
Yeah. Yeah. But this right here is probably the perfect likeness to Willem Dafoe. It looks great. The only thing I wish he came with was a boot swivel.
Yep,
and he has same set of hands. Is the only 2 things he was missing. But that's number 7. Number 6, I think I'm on 6, is my favorite character. We were talking about it, Cyclops. The VHS
O'Brien one?
Yes,
yeah,
this is
Conan O'Brien.
I like how they did this Cyclops because they sculpted his parts on here. So you're not having none of his leg pieces, anything dangling. They're all sculpted in. Which I like. And I like the cell shading. This one's done a lot better than the past ones they did. So the only thing I wish he came with was an alternate head with the beam for his visor. Let's see. Number 5 is one
Matt's old enough to know that.
Consider their best ones, and that is Captain America the 20th. I don't have the 80th. I don't have that one. This 20th, though, was number 3 when it came out on my top 10 list of 2022. So this was number 3 on my list.
Don't be negative for that one. They should get
number
2
4
shits.
is one. Yeah. Number 4, this figure also came out this year, is the Nick Fury. I like this Nick Fury. I think everybody knows who Glenn Powell was. Glenn, who passed away a couple of years ago, who did 4 reviews like all of us did. I think he would have been proud of this Nick Fury figure today. I think he would have. And I love it that we get the option to get a Nick Fury Sr. or Jr. with an alternate head. It's just a great figure. Number 3. I know Matt loves this one. That is the retro carded She-Hulk.
Great figure.
My favorite, probably one of my favorite figures, close to the top 10 of the year.
Great
But
face.
mine,
Face
unlike
cool.
Jared's, I think, and Matt's, mine came with its colored elbows and knees. But on that, she's just a great figure. One that everybody should get. Number 2, this one I personally like. It's my personal collection. It is the retro card Spider-Man. The first retro card
Aren't all
Spider-Man.
these in your personal collection?
Probably my absolute favorite one. I have so many Spider-Mans like Matt does, so I had to pick which one. I picked it, the first retro carded one. That. And then finally, number 1, this guy was my top. This was number 1 on my top 10 of 2022. It is the Walmart exclusive Doctor Strange. This one is my absolute favorite Marvel Legend out of my entire list, even though he does have the rubber cape, but it is really sculpted and very nicely painted. So
I took one of mine and made the cape.
That's my
removable,
top 10.
The magnet in the chest.
So
Sculpted over it.
I'm curious about Matt's now.
Excuse me. I forgot how to drink water.
And we can disagree on this, you know.
Oh,
No,
Okay.
we gotta like our list, and if you say anything about it, you're out.
No,
Number 10. This is one from this year. And I didn't think, I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't know I was going to like it this much. But it's because it's a throwback to my my first experience with this character, which is Secret Wars Doctor Doom.
oh, that was going to be another option of mine.
Love Secret Wars Doctor Doom. Why am I? Look at that. Come on. Secret Wars Doctor Doom. Fucking love this figure. When I first really, I mean, I knew who Doctor Doom was, but when I first came across Doctor Doom was during Secret Wars. So this was like my kind of introductory look at the character when I first started reading comics back in the mid 80s. So love that figure. Number 9. And shit's falling on the floor. And a lot of people will give me shit for this. I don't care. This is my favorite action figure version of this character because it reminds me of a very specific art style. And this is early Hasbro, so it's not the greatest articulation. I don't give a shit. But my my Mobius art style Silver Surfer.
Oh, that's a nice.
Anybody
one,
read
Matt.
the old? Like, remember I don't know how many people have gone back and read the artist Mobius. He did some before Silver Surfer had his own ongoing series. He did some like deluxe Marvel Comics deluxe magazines with Silver Surfer in it. It had a very distinct art style.
Mhm.
That's what this figure looks like. It looks specifically like Mobius's art style. And I love that figure. And I know it's still got the ball joint hips and all that stuff, but it's my favorite Silver Surfer figure. I love that
Well,
one.
we still get to that same surfboard with every surf.
Yeah, they've kept the surfboard. So, and then to go to a figure that we were just talking about, or not a figure, a character we were just talking about. This is my favorite Iceman, Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
Love this figure. It's yeah, I don't know. It's just this is Bobby Drake to me. It looks fantastic. I think they did a great job on that one. I wish they would re-release it, honestly. You know, I'll be honest. I don't even give a shit if they wanted to do a new articulation. I know it's on the Pizza Spidey Buck, but
You know what would be really nice if what they did is use that head sculpt and put it on the Age Apocalypse Iceman body.
yeah. But I would want it in this color scheme because I like
Exactly.
the
That
lighter
color scheme. Age
Yeah.
Apocalypse body, that color scheme, that head sculpt.
That would be great. One of my other favorite comic characters of all time that I just loved as a kid, even before I really knew a lot about him, just because he looked cool. But I think this is a perfect figure for him. Where am I at? 10, 9, 8. This is number 7. Is retro card
Flaming hot.
translucent fucking Johnny Storm, Human Torch. This is a fantastic figure. This is like a perfect.
Oh yeah,
This is a perfect Human Torch action figure right here.
and you can get them.
Beautifully done. Great articulation. It's on the this is the Sunfire body, I believe.
Yep.
But it works perfectly for Johnny Storm. And it's just I love how they got the stripes on him and everything, like the old school you know,
And
artwork.
if anybody's needing that one too, like, if you have,
They're cheap as hell, dude. Yeah, they're at Ollie's all the time.
Oh,
I got a couple of them.
What's really cool to do with that one too, if you have a extra Sunfire or just Sunfire in general, do an arm swap with that with Sunfire.
Oh yeah,
it looks badass with Sunfire.
Yeah. Okay, number 6 is my out. It's not my.
Did you notice JB left while you're doing your list?
Fuck JB. Because I could only pick one of each character. My number 6 is I don't know what it is about this thing. I just love this figure, and it's the one that if I'm going to make a top 10 and I can only pick one, and it's got to be a Hasbro Marvel Legend. This is the Spider-Man I'm going to put in the group. I love this version. I was a huge Spider-Man fan, and I remember this storyline. I remember that cover where it's him and Deathlock on the cover, back to back. You know, like this was a golden age of Spider-Man for me in the early 90s. I thought they did a fantastic job with this figure. It's the figure that like always pops on my shelf. Like there's just something, I don't know. It's nostalgia for me.
That reminds me of that I love that one too, and at the same or similar time period when they did like the one shot, the web armor, in the comics, which was very disappointing when they made the figure. They did the video game version of the web armor instead of the comic book one.
I don't know, man. I love this figure. It's just it's colorful, it pops. It's Spider-Man with a cyborg arm. Like it's an awesome figure, and I loved that story run in the comics. But speaking of that story run, my number 5 is Deathlock.
Oh, that's great.
Is a phenomenal figure. To this day, this is an amazing figure, and the fact that you can get them just like they were on the cover of that book, like this, back to back, you know. Dude, the sculpt on this thing is fantastic. His gun, the head sculpt looks, I don't know, my camera's not really picking up all the details there, but damn it. Such a phenomenal figure. I love this figure. I don't think Deathlock gets enough respect, in my opinion. I think he's a great character. That's number 5. Number 4, my favorite Wolverine figure. We've talked about this one before. Weapon X. Love Weapon X. I don't know. I love that storyline from Marvel Comics Presents back in the late 80s, early 90s. I love that original figure that I've still got in package on my wall, the old Toy Biz one. I just love this figure. It's my favorite Wolverine figure right there. Number 3. A figure I don't see many people talking about anymore. I don't know why, because when it first came out, it was like a big deal. And now it's just not really a big deal anymore, which is Archangel. Love this thing. Amazing figure.
On that porch.
Like a perfect Archangel figure. The wings are sculpted beautifully.
I love the deluxe one with got the shiny wings.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the deluxe. And it, you know, this is the one that came with I had to buy this at GameStop. I don't remember how much the damn thing cost, but love this figure. It's one of my favorite figures, obviously. And I think they did a fantastic. I like him without his without his mask on, personally. Personal preference there. Number 2, numero dos. The second best Marvel Legends Captain America, because I don't have the first one. So same one as JB had, which is the 20th anniversary. I wish I had the 80th. I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. I think it's because the price shot up on it so quick that I just never spent the money to get him. And I didn't pick him up right off the bat, and I should have. But in lieu of the 80th, 20th anniversary is the best one. And number 1, what has in 2 weeks become my absolute hands down favorite Marvel Legends figure of all time, fucking Death's Head. That's right. Best motherfucking Marvel Legend of all time right here. This thing is fantastic. It's great. It's the best action figure Hasbro has ever produced. And if you don't think so, everybody can suck it. This thing's awesome.
No.
This thing is awesome.
The only reason it's not on my list, I don't have it yet.
I don't got mine yet. Still waiting for mine.
Love that. I love that figure, dude. Like,
my card got charged for it on Pulse.
I could not. I mean, like, I knew I was going to like it because I've been waiting for a Death's Head figure since I got into Marvel Legends. And so I knew I was going to like it, but I did not know I was going to love it that much. Like, every aspect of it, I think they knocked it out of the park with this. It's one of the best figures, my personal favorite figure that I've ever seen them make in the Marvel Legends line.
Did you buy an extra?
Damn great job with it.
Did you get you an extra?
No, I didn't. I was going to, but I never did.
What were you talking about, like Archangel?
Uh-huh.
I would love to see an update on that new Angel body.
Yep.
And it's overdue to get like an update at Archangel too, since that deluxe one was like, how many years ago was that now?
I think I picked him up back in 2018, 19, 19 maybe. 18 or 19. 19? When was that Apocalypse Build-A-Figure? Because it was a part of that wave.
Well, you have the single release, then you have the deluxe release. The one you had there is the deluxe.
Yeah, it's the one that. Yeah, it was the one that came in the big package that you could only get at GameStop.
You got the claw for Apocalypse.
Yeah, he's got the Apocalypse claw. So he technically came out after that wave came out, but he was technically part of that wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the claw here around here somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but yeah, I want to say 2019. I want to say 2019 is when it came out. So it's at least 5 years old at this point.
So, and it's on the Buggy Cat. It's time to get us a new one.
Yeah. But I love it, dude. I love it's like just a really great representation of Warren.
I had a fantastic job with
wings. I mean, everything, even with the way they've got the wings attached, don't look big and gaudy, and the wings are done beautifully, and with the articulation and the hinging they've got on the wings, and you've got the rotation on the wings as well. Like, they did a really, really good job with him.
The only thing I did with mine, I put those wings on the darker blue one with the metallic purple, and I put the horseman head on that body with the duller wings.
Okay.
So we can have it with my Apocalypse figure.
So anybody pick up some stuff this week?
I ain't picked up nothing this week.
Oh, Argyle was asking, that Iceman is bad to get gummy, like really like loose limbs? Is yours good?
Mine's fine.
So for now,
so I got some stuff for this week. So I'll get them out. I'll get them out of the way real quick because I know Jared's probably got a slideshow he wants to show us.
No.
So
he told us earlier he hadn't gotten anything this week other than what he ordered, and he's still waiting for it to show up. Do you not pay attention to the chats?
No, you don't pay attention to what I said when I come in here like 1 minute before the show started. It's like, hey, I just got through cooking because I have family coming and da-da-da-da-da. Don't listen to a word I say. He's like, listens to his Uncle Matt, but never listens to me.
Anyway, so I got this first at Target. We and the wife went out shopping. I got the Elite 101 Roman Reigns. Probably going to be my last wrestling figure because they're just getting too much, especially with Hasbro releasing Marvel Legends stuff. So, kind of moving on from that. Other thing I got, which came from you, Jared, he got me the Jessica Drew Fire Woman, which I want to say thank you, man. I appreciate you getting this for me. I've been trying to get this for who knows how long, and I never could find it for a good price. So I appreciate it, man.
One thing you'll notice when you get her out of the packaging, the ear under the hair, they didn't bother painting it.
They didn't?
No.
Well, thanks for telling me that. By the way, my wife did say, well, it's a good thing he sent this to you because my birthday is literally Monday. So, yay. Early birthday.
You already lost it.
Yeah. Early birthday gift. And this I got from my Walmart. I got this.
Oh, is it another Krang figure that you didn't call us about?
No, the Legacy Collection Deadpool figure.
Okay.
You already know. I already
had that.
Did what?
I thought you already bought that.
No, I was the one that bought that.
The one I have is from the 2-pack. I got that one Comic-Con. I got that one loose. But this is the Legacy
You both wear
Collection one.
hats and glasses. I can't keep you this separated.
It's understandable.
I know, but this came at my Walmart. I got a deal on it, so I picked it up. And the last thing I got, which I'll probably have a review of maybe next week or something, or tomorrow, who knows, is the Kazar figure. I finally got mine. Been waiting to get him for quite a while, so glad to finally have him on the shelf. And I admit he is very bland. I'm probably going to give him some saber-tooth teeth, accessories, stuff like that to really detail him out, but have to wait and see. That's all I got for this week.
I got a puppy.
Yeah, you got a puppy.
I did order the Biker Mice from Mars from Quinn. He called me and told me he had them in stock. And I think I still wanted them. I told him I wanted them, so I couldn't order on it, even though they're showing up cheaper at Walmart.
Yeah.
I paid that. Because Quinn is awesome.
So, Sith said that he got some pickups. What'd you pick up, Sith? What'd you pick up this week?
Well, it's kind of dirty way Nacelle. It's not really Nacelle's fault, but they're selling the box retail stores a lot cheaper than the smaller stores. They're like $30 to $40, $37 to $40 at like Big Bag Toy Store or comic shops, and $30 at Walmart if you can find them at Walmart.
For what now?
The Biker Mice.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah,
never listens to me. It's like, what am I talking to?
I didn't hear you say Biker Mouse. I heard you say Walmart stuff, and I was like, wait, what?
I just think it's kind of like crappy how they like doing the price under their. I don't know if it's. I guess Walmart ordered such bulk they were able to get a cheaper rate.
Probably.
And
I mean,
undercutting like the smaller shops.
I mean, they haven't showed up at my Walmart yet, so
You can order them online. I saw them on Walmart's website in stock.
I know. I'll probably, if my Walmart ever gets them, I'll probably pick up one or two.
I was looking at them and I was just like, I mean, I would like to have them. I just don't want them that much. Like, I didn't really give a crap about Biker Mice from Mars. You know what I mean? Like, it was a little after my time. You know? So, I mean, they're cool. But I was just like,
I just happened to catch them like that first season, so I kind of got a little bit of nostalgia for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the cartoon stuff, but I mean, I might pick one of them up just to see how they are, but I don't know.
All right, let's see what he got. He got Dick Grayson Batman. Which Dick Grayson Batman? McFarlane or?
Yeah, the McFarlane one and Starfire.
Starfire, Batman, Superman Fusion, 6-inch
Red
Batman Beyond. Which 6-inch Batman Beyond? Like the DCUC one?
I
Or
think
the,
it might.
or the DC Multiverse. Was it? Yeah, there was the DCUC and then there was DC Multiverse. I think the one I've got is the DC Multiverse. Yeah, I've got the DC Multiverse one.
I think it might be the one McFarlane released. I think is what he's talking about.
McFarlane didn't release a 6-inch Batman Beyond.
That Batman Beyond figure, DC Direct Batman Beyond figure he released.
Here. Oh,
It's not even out yet, is it?
Some people are already getting their copies, yes.
Here you go.
Oh, there it
What
is.
do you got?
Okay, so we got Superman.
The Ed McGuinness style Superman.
Yep. Starfire.
Starfire with the penis.
With penis.
I told you, yeah, it was
Okay.
that Batman.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that thing anywhere yet. I didn't know it was even available yet.
Just came out during STC, I guess, what he said on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, they switched it from like those unique boxes to the DC Multiverse style box packaging.
Which I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I like the other boxes they were in, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, can someone explain why Superman Batman fuse or how it happens?
I think this is this the
That's
the chase
platinum.
one?
Yeah, that
With
is.
the translucent parts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Dick Grayson Batman. And Deadpool.
And cool.
Do. Infinite Crisis. That's a good storyline.
Yep.
Well, Jeff Johns and George Perez. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I like the All Star too.
All Star Superman. I love that movie. That All Star Superman movie, that animated movie.
Mhm.
Fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great Elseworlds title. Let's just,
Yeah.
There we go. We got the tab here. I will have to say, somebody's a Dragon Ball fan at, doing the photos. That's Destructo Disc with Krillin.
It's a good
Destructo
picture.
Disc.
Yeah, it's a good picture. The moment I saw that product shot, I'm like, that's Krillin.
Yep. Anybody order this set?
I don't pre-order anymore.
I did. I pre-ordered. Got to get the little puppy. Got to get the doggies.
Is it? I want in my head canon. That's Flash from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's pretty neat.
But I went ahead and pre-ordered it because
Now, it would have been better if Doctor Strange's cape was soft goods or wired, yes, but I get why they made it.
well, Hasbro just don't do soft goods.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have favored if it was soft goods or wired. It would have, but I've seen
It is
why.
a nicer sculpt than the previous cape, though. I will say that.
I
It looks
agree.
lighter too.
It's
I
just
like the way it
doesn't.
falls over the shoulders better too
Yeah.
than the previous
Yeah.
one.
It
The
just
other one
doesn't
just
have.
stuck up so high. It's meant.
Well, they
is
lifted
meant
it
for
up
all
on
that Lucky
this
Cap.
one. Well, they lift up on this one so he can have more range of motion movement. Like, that's the one issue about this cape is he will be somewhat limited in his shoulder, especially on the right side compared to this one. But it's a lot better aesthetically pleasing looking Doctor Strange compared to the Walmart one. It's just
Mm-hmm.
this one was always my favorite.
But what's one?
But I pre-ordered the set because everybody's got to have a Wong figure. Everybody's got to.
I don't know. Wong's eyes don't look quite right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the close-up
They
of the
look
pictures.
a little too round.
He
That's not racist for me to say. Wong is supposed to be Asian, by the way. Okay.
just thought of you could probably use that Wong head if you want to make a custom Lex Luthor.
He look. I mean, his eyes don't look right for somebody who's supposed to be Asian.
Maybe zoom in his eyes. Maybe if you can, Jared.
Did they whitewash Wong?
I don't know.
Did they triple W him?
You're gonna have to zoom in a lot better, Jared.
That's as far as it goes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
It's like plus. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Go yell at toy art.
Oh wait, I can zoom in right here on my screen. Yeah, his eyes are round. That's right.
Yeah,
They
it looks.
whitewash Wong.
Yeah, he's very sort of pale white. I can see it. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
very
they'll-
pale white.
They have a hard time doing Asian faces.
They do.
They're either like they don't look Asian, or they look bored,
Or they look too Asian, and then they get
Yeah.
shit for that.
I'm seeing people pre-ordering this for Wong and the dog, but I can see
Yeah.
people are going to be selling Doctor Strange loose by himself.
we got these new multiverse figures. We got another reissue of the Dark Knight Returns. The multi-pack, well, the one figure multi-pack type thing with the multiple heads. This is what McFarlane should have been doing all along when he does, instead of, oh, we're going to release this figure, and oh, you can buy the Platinum Edition. It's a different character, a different head or something. It's like he was doing that crap, and how about you just released a figure with a bunch of heads, and people buy a bunch of that one figure?
It only comes with 2 heads, and then the Platinum comes with 2 different heads. So,
Oh, so he's still doing it.
yeah.
So he's still dick.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a bigger dick, McFarlane or Bobby Valla?
Well, seeing how McFarlane is still making tons of money, so he can't be the bigger dick because
Probably
does that make him a bigger dick? I don't know.
What the fuck?
Probably-
I heard he was talking shit a while back about Gridiron Studios.
Yeah, he was shitting on the
What the hell
Gridiron
did he
Studios.
say?
I mean, he's not.
He was talking about them being, they're 3D printed crap, and they overcharge for it.
Well, think of this too, though. At least he's not like Bobby Valla, where he's constantly bickering and moaning.
That's who we're talking about is Bobby Valla.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Daddy McFarlane.
No,
we're talking about Bobby Valla. Yeah, but I heard because I heard like recently that I don't know the guy's name, but the guy who runs Gridiron Studios was asked something about Valaverse and whether or not he was going to be making stuff for what's the fucking vehicle they just came out with at Valaverse? Vanguard. And he was like, no, we aren't making anything for that. And basically said something along the lines of, we don't support Valaverse.
No.
Or he didn't say something like, he said, we don't support Valaverse. And then I started hearing people talking about it, like, oh, yeah, Bobby Valla trashed him on like a video or a live chat or something.
Oh, I saw it.
It's like, okay, what?
And
just shut up, dude.
Apparently that video when he was having, he talking about he couldn't buy Exo Squad, he started trashing the sale. I didn't watch the video.
Yep.
Because Nacelle is actually getting license deals and Bobby's not. It's because you go on and rant and rave about people.
Shut up and stop being a dick.
That would actually
know your place, dude. You make knockoff G.I. Joes. People like them. They're decent. I've got a few of them. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not my go-to because they're characters I don't know or give a crap about, but they're decent figures. I like them. Just shut up and take it, dude. Be graceful. Stop being so fucking bitter, dude. Like, he acts like a bitter little fucking 12-year-old girl that can't help but open her fucking mouth because I didn't get what I want. So I'm going to shit on everybody else. Like, shut up, you fucking child.
I would
what
say
the hell?
I will say one thing I would love to see Bobby do, which I think he should have done, is do like what Mattel is doing with their Origins stuff figures, where they include a mini comic, so you know the story.
At this point, I don't want Bobby to fucking do anything. I'm getting tired of him. I don't want to buy any more of his crap.
He's got his own comic book line. You got to subscribe to it, but
I don't want to buy his stuff anymore because of him.
But exactly? It's like, but I do get what you're saying though. The mini comics is a good ideal, and if you were doing, he should have done that from the get-go. Have like a little mini comic.
Yeah.
Because that is part of what gets you into liking characters, is having story. I didn't want to go buy his comics, but if he included like a little mini comic in the figures, I would have probably flipped through them and was like, oh, that sounds like a cool character. Maybe I would have bought his comics.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, it's kind of like with people who don't know who He-Man is. Those mini comics do tell you somewhat about those characters, so if you don't know who they are.
I love the backstory, how those mini comics came to be. Those guys marketing He-Man were just such bullshitters. To selling to like the retailers back in the day. It's like, it's like, kids need like some kind of story to like these characters. Oh, we're going to do mini comics with the figures.
Yeah, I mean,
another retailers talk about like, is this really the toys do better if you have a cartoon line? Oh, we're actually doing a cartoon line now too, which they have no cartoon line.
Yep,
they just BS their way into a multi-million-dollar brand and did great at it for a long time.
Yep. I will say this, the only Valaverse figure I've got recently, and it's probably the last one I'm going to get, is the 100-figure Bone Collector.
Oh, if you like them, man, don't get them because we say something about them, but just...
No, it's just I keep on getting more Marvel Legends, more G.I. Joes, so that's why I'm not having
Valaverse
space.
was a niche time window when the reason he got popular, that the G.I. Joe Hasbro team was not putting out many Joes. They were putting out a ton of Cobra figures. Well, he launched it before even G.I. Joe Classified started. He was trying to get launched. It ended up not coming out. He ended up being late because his first Kickstarter failed. But he was launching it because he knew people wanted G.I. Joe. So he started to make a G.I. Joe line, which he couldn't get G.I. Joe line, so he got Action Force, which is weird. He bought the Action Force brand and didn't make it themed whatsoever to be Action Force. But anyway.
He just made it his own IP, basically.
Yeah, he just, and which I don't know why he just didn't trademark Action Force.
And this again is it's not a bad figure. It is a lot of reasons. other than the gauntlets, the vest, and the head, and all that stuff, and the boots, all that's installed, but everything else is reused.
But what I was continuing saying was the fact people were buying them for a supplement because you didn't have many GI Joes. You bought Valid Action Force, which I did the very same thing too. I wanted troop builders and the gear packs, and he wouldn't keep them in stock, which was the most popular thing. The green soldiers, green gear sets, military like troop builders.
Yep.
Keep that in stock. You sell them, you make money.
My very first.
I wanted some of the black suit ones. They sell out as soon as they go up on them. I'm like, they make a shit ton more. It's like, well, I'm not going to make any more. It's like, why? They sell out.
Because
the reasoning is just.
I like the figures that I have. I have nothing against the
they're decent figures. They're
just every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, I just don't want to buy your shit anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
first of all, I have no personal connection to the brand, right?
Exactly.
Like they're not GI Joe. I don't know any of these characters. I don't care about any of those characters.
What's happened with the Snake Layer from Mattel? There's no nostalgia connection. You're going to have very limited people going to be interested if there's no connection to it. People buy this stuff because of the nostalgia vibe.
Yeah.
Just like
Mattel was like, oh, we'll make Snake Layer, which is something we never made. Like Pixel Dan did that poll. It's like one of the reasons why you're not going to buy this because I have no. One of the overall results on the poll was I don't have a nostalgic connection to the Snake Layer, so I'm not going to spend $300 on it.
Well, people did also go crazy and buy Once a Man Cobra Commander. I mean, that's
because
there's a nostalgic connection to it.
Yeah, no, I was bringing that up because nostalgia.
It's like the Vanguard. Nobody wants the Vanguard. There's no nostalgia to that.
Yeah,
no. If he got a Jeep license, that would have made better sense.
I do. I mean, and it's kind of a dick thing, but I mean, to be honest, like at this point, it's very obvious that Hasbro just saw what he was doing and was like, you know what, fuck this guy who used to work with us. Let's just do everything we can to make sure nobody wants his stuff by putting out stuff people actually care about. Yeah. And they've done that. And to be honest, like again, I feel like a dick saying it, but with his attitude, good. Because he just comes off like such a bitter little prick every time he opens his fucking mouth that I'm just like, dude, you have no room to talk. You make knockoff G.I. Joes. Like, I'm sorry, but that's what you make. So either be gracious and grateful that people like your stuff, or none of us want to buy your crap anymore because you just come off as a dick and you're bashing people because
he got mad at Nacelle because it's possible that Nacelle got the Exo Squad license.
Yep.
And so that's why he's mad at Nacelle. They're a newer company and they're getting licensed and he's not.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they make more shit from that era. They make,
and plus too, Nacelle has got a huge name already. They did all those documentaries, The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah,
it's a branch off from that documentary company,
and they specialize in that era of cartoons and toys. That's what they do. That's not what he does. They specialize in early 90s nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like of course they got it before he did.
Well, I got burned out Bobby Vallow in that whole debacle with name of hell's talking about Vallow wants his stuff to be like the next G.I. Joe or He-Man. How many times he's been talking about, I've been talking to a movie studio doing an Action Force movie. And it's like, okay, sure.
I will say this is
remember that whole debacle thing where it's like, oh, we got this license deal. We're going to people are going to really stand up and take notice once we get this license deal. Mm-hmm. Waited 4 months to wait for this. We were all kind of.
We talked about it on this show.
We were excited. Are you getting like a Liefeld license? Are you getting this independent comic license or whatever? And then he made this
Power Rangers
BS excuse like, oh, the original company pulled out on us. So, but we got something else to show. We got the knockoff Power Rangers.
I do want to show this. This was my very first Valliverse figure that I own, probably ever, and that's Sergeant Slaughter. The only reason why I got this one was because it was before Hasbro made their cartoon accurate Sarge. So I wanted to have a Sergeant Slaughter on my shelf, so that's why I got this one, which at the time, this was the only Valaverse figure I ever owned. Because I thought it was really good. Which it is. It's a good figure. I mean, articulation, accessories, everything it comes with. It's basically an figure you'd want. Yeah. But,
Bobby's World was talking about here too, like when you watch reviews and seeing how easy those first wave figures were, the irony, it was just so freaking funny with those first figures being stiff and brittle.
Oh, yeah.
And for months and months, they were giving NECA crap about the same thing. Then, because you guys pick a hairdryer, and it's like their buddies and stuff like. I mentioned like when they're talking about NECA stuff, it's like it's not a big deal. You take 5 minutes of blow dryer and a little bit of plastic safe lubricant, and your figures are fine. They're like, that's too much to do. That's unheard of. Then they did a little PSA for the first wave of Outfitters figures and did little videos, tutorials, doing exactly what I said to do the NECA figures.
Yeah, Analog Toys even did videos of that too, showing, well, here's how to fix your figures. Here's how to do this and that.
Analog Toys.
Yeah, Analog. Making sure I say it right.
But yeah, it was just the irony of that whole thing when they just gave NECA so much crap. It's like for the brittle figures, like it takes like 5 minutes to like prep your figure. Just don't break it. Just get out of the package and go, this is stuck.
And then
it broke. Why did it break?
And then as an apology, he sent out like, oh, this special deployment wave. We're gonna re-release the first wave figures, but give them the better plastic. After already 2 more waves came out of figures, he finally re-releases the first wave of figures, but fixed. So,
I don't know, man. Again, dude needs to be gracious and grateful for what he has, and that he's built up a fan base, and that he makes a decent product.
Yeah,
that is good. And stop being such a bitter little prick. He needs to shut up. Stop being a bitter prick, because he's just pushing people away from his brand. And there's nothing holding them to his brand. Okay? He has no IP recognition. People have no nostalgia for his shit. So shut up, dude.
If you don't
stop fucking shit.
And like doing that stuff, he's getting a bad reputation. You're not going to get a license deal. It's like these other companies that's like sitting there making stuff without permission, then turn around and go behind and it's like go to the same company that you were making illegal figures of and try to get a license deal. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, the companies that make non-licensed toys like Superman and stuff we see, at least they show they care about what they're making. And
there are some of those ones. It's like a more prominent one that's done the same thing, and then trying to turn around and go to the license holder and get a license deal.
Yeah,
and then make statements like, "Well, if you don't, we'll release it a different name anyway."
Yeah,
it don't help your case.
Yeah, I agree. Like we've been talking about for months, Bobby Vallis should have released it. Like Matt's been saying, he should be grateful. But also, if he would have not done generic soldiers, then it did like from the cybernetic stuff he's doing now from the beginning. I think his line would have done better.
Yeah, he's got to the maximum saturation point that Action Force is going to get. He needs to get another license.
He needs to, and that's why this Monster Force and all these lines coming out are going to smoke him, especially now Hasbro with G.I. Joe.
They're doing a better gimmick, a better thing. They're doing
monsters as soldiers, like zombies and vampires, of course, as army soldiers. And
you're doing the classic
Universal
mummy, the vampire, Dracula, the Frankenstein. You're doing classic monsters themes and zombies, and you're doing soldiers to hunt them. You're doing zombie soldiers,
which I did pre-order Dracula. I'm looking. I can't wait to get that.
I did as well. So I'm getting the Hasbro one from the Midnight Suns wave.
Yep, that's what I got.
I'm also getting that one too. It's a different look.
I feel like they will scale somewhat with the Valaverse, like they'll somewhat scale with them in a way, but they scale with G.I. Joe and other stuff too. So,
which Gridiron Studios has partnered with them and doing instead of running your mouth and bad mouthing the company, Gridiron Studios could have been working with you.
Yep. And then I don't know, man. Whatever. But this is, people make this way more contentious than it needs to be. Just,
Oh yeah.
Make good shit, make some fun stuff. If you can get a hold of a cool IP and make some nostalgia, awesome. If you can't, like make stuff that works with the stuff that is going to give people nostalgia, which is what Bobby Vallis started doing.
This is this thing that is so silly. Bobby World's. I was going to say, I've been saying World, but it's Wold.
Yeah, Wold. Like World.
The Crimson Moon wave, that's awesome. Plus, it's in some European Action Force comics. That's very inspired from that. I don't know why. If you made a point to get the Action Force brand, why Bobby didn't make the bad guys look like the Crimson Shadow? You bought the European brand name for G.I. Joe. Didn't make it look anything like that.
Yeah, he bought and here's the thing, like there's plenty of people, there's just as many people here in the US that would have bought it if he had gone that route. But then there is exponentially more people than currently buy his stuff in the UK and in Europe that would totally have nostalgia for those characters and those figures.
You were part of the same market here in the U.S., maybe a few extras, but overseas, UK, Australia, and markets, and they actually got the Crimson Shadows figures. Those would have been the people buying that for all the nostalgia, which they're going to buy the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff like crazy because it is bad. So I don't know why you didn't do this.
I don't know. It's like he just wanted to make his own versions of. He just bought Action Force so he could make his own versions of G.I. Joe, but no, dude, that's G.I. Joe. Like G.I. Joe's making the stuff we want.
Yeah,
like that's what they're doing. I don't want your knockoff versions. Either make something that goes with G.I. Joe, or make something wholly new that's actually cool and unique, and not just knockoff versions of G.I. Joe. Like, I don't know, man. Whatever. He's just
yeah.
It's him. It's just him at this point. It's just him. It's not his product. It's just him as a human being.
Oh yeah. The Yellow Park's going to do some more figures. They're going to do some Transformers 1 figures, which I got those smaller ones are great. Quinn got some of the Blokies, a competitive line to Yellow Park. And he said those things were great too. Like they flew off the shelf. They were very reminiscent of Action Masters. I like these. Where you got your original first appearance, and you got figures, and you got your upgraded forms later on. These are really fun kits, and they come pre-painted, so you don't have to worry about doing all that stuff. Like what's intimidating a lot of people when you buy like model kit stuff like that's painting. These are ready to go. You just put them together. You get to. Really cool to look in the pre-Megatron. You got his more classic style form. These all look great. I like these. Get a little preview of the Skybound. It's we've been a year of Skybound comics after they left IDW. You got your covers. Here we go. The art, I dig the gritty art style. It's very reminiscent of G1, but of a modern flavor. I like it. It's been a fun read. If you haven't been picking these up, they start getting the trades.
I'm waiting for some of the trades to start coming out, and I know a lot of these are still fairly new. Like none of them have gotten to that point because they usually do trades every 6 issues.
Yeah, well, this is going to be issue 12, so the first trade's probably already ready to come out.
Yeah, because I want to get some of the trades on these and the new G.I. Joe stuff coming out. And I know the G.I. Joe stuff just started coming out here. 3? I think the highest we're up to is like issue 3 or 4 on any of those.
And here's the long-awaited shipment of Fresh Monkey Fiction's Monster Force figures. They're going to start shipping out soon. So been a long time coming, but they're finally getting released. Which their stuff looks great. And we're getting some more War Storm, Magic Storm, one nice scale GM licensed Wolverine and Deadpool, like robotic versions of Wolverine and Deadpool. These look really cool.
Yeah.
Especially the Deadpool. I like them both, but those are really cool. More. And 5K Toys. This is getting re-released. The Carter Slade light up Ghost Rider, which you made one recently.
Mine doesn't light up, but yeah.
Which is really pleased. I never ordered this one, but I think it's already sold out basically everywhere.
Does the horse doesn't have any articulation though, does it?
No, the horse is a statue. It's just a nice piece, looks piece, so it lights up. But, they look cool. Sam Elliott.
Which is a really good likeness to the man himself.
Which, I didn't think about it, he's played 2 Marvel characters.
Yep.
And he played Carter Slade and General Ross.
It would have been nice if they did bring him back to play General Ross in the new Captain America.
It seemed like it would have made a better sense than Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford just made no sense, because Sam Elliott still looks good. Better than Harrison Ford. And he's already got a history of playing the character.
Well, and especially because of the fact that, like, technically, the way they did the 2 movies, it's the same. It's the same story. I mean, technically, The Incredible Hulk is part 2.
Well,
I mean, I know they made changes because of Abomination or whatever his dad was supposed to be in the first. Whatever. What was he supposed? Who was his dad supposed to be?
David Banner.
I know, but when he turned into the creature,
it was a variation of the Absorbing Man.
Yeah, it was some weird thing, but whatever. Like they intentionally started the second movie, Incredible Hulk, after that. So you can say you can still say that Ang Lee Hulk movie is the first Hulk movie, which means that Sam Elliott is still General Ross.
Yeah. This looks really cool. We got a Sabretooth, gladiator figure from X-Ray Studios. We coming up?
What? Who goes there?
Here, it's fun.
But we got an unofficial Naruto figure. And we can go ahead and just call it out. And attempted to get this thing. This thing looks awesome. Demon Hunter. It's about a game thing. But other than that, I say we just wrap it up. And other than this is a 1/12 scale tumbler, official piece. It's a kit you put together. To me, this looks so much better. It's a kit you got put together, but it looks so much better than the McFarlane one. But all right, I gotta go.
You got a little one to take care of. We got another show to do. And JB's got Plastic Man to play with. So, there we go. See. Remember, don't fuck the Plastic Man.
Yep, I know. Sid for life.
All right. Words to live by.
Alrighty. We'll catch y'all next time.
Later, guys.
Later.
Ninja vanish.